Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, how does the COVID-19 pandemic affect one's mental health? And Hazard High School is excited to announce a big academic achievement.
A cold front will arrive tomorrow, bringing more showers, thunderstorms, and a cool down into the mountains. I'll have a look at that forecast right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The first large-scale test of a coronavirus vaccine is now underway as the number of those infected continues to rise. Nationwide, more than 4 million people have contracted COVID-19 and more than 147,000 have died. CBS's Chris Martinez reports from Los Angeles.
Drug maker Moderna and the National Institutes of Health began phase 3 trials of its coronavirus vaccine, recruiting 30,000 volunteers nationwide, including Melissa Harding of New York.
Doing our part to eradicate it is very important to me.
Volunteers won't know if they're getting a placebo or a shot of the experimental vaccine that could offer hope against the pandemic.
We are moving at a historic pace.
Vice President Pence traveled to Florida to tout progress being made. Florida is one of 3 states with more than 400,000 coronavirus cases. New York is another, and California, the most populous state, is in the lead.
We want a vaccine available for the American people every bit as soon as it is safely and effectively available.
But cases here in California are showing signs of leveling off. A Trump administration official says it's because people are social distancing and wearing masks, and a similar trend is underway in Arizona, Texas, and Florida. Still, Dr. Deborah Burke says rising case numbers in other southern and western states is concerning.
We do believe that there are states that do need to close their bars, to decrease indoor gatherings to less than 10, to really make it possible to control the pandemic.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says a vaccine would likely be developed by November. Even if one becomes available this year, a new CBS News poll finds only 30% of Americans would get it as soon as possible, while half of the country said they would consider it, but would wait to see what happened to others first. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Major League Baseball officials have postponed 2 games after members of the Miami Marlins tested positive for COVID-19. The University of Kentucky says Kentucky has the 21st worst suicide rate in the country. Experts say the number of calls to suicide crisis numbers have gone up since March. Researcher Julie Sorrell says we do not know how to predict who is most at risk, but she says if someone faces uncertainty, it can play a part. And uncertainty seems to be one of the only things we do know during this new normal.
The percentage of people that have lost jobs or who are having food insecurity is really staggering. But also people have social insecurity. Will kids start back to school? Will they go back to college? Will people be able to go to our normal social events? And when is that going to happen?
The number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. Starting today, you can help cover a Kentucky State Police cruiser in stickers. KSB is hosting Cover the Cruiser for the Kentucky Special Olympics. A KSB cruiser will be parked at several locations throughout the state. For just $1, you can purchase a sticker and then place it anywhere on the cruiser. All the money from the stickers will go towards the Special Olympics of Kentucky and help them out since their Summer Olympics were canceled due to the pandemic. Time is running out for Congress to pass the next coronavirus relief package as boosted unemployment benefits for roughly 25 million Americans are set to expire this week. CBS's Skylar Henry has more from the White House, where a close advisor to President Trump has now tested positive for the virus.
Today, National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien is the latest Trump administration official to test positive for the coronavirus. The White House says there is no risk to President Trump.
No, I haven't seen him lately. I heard he tested. Yeah, I have not seen him. I'm calling him later.
President Trump is headed to a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility today.
Working at warp speed to make sure we have the manufacturing capability to produce 1 billion doses of vaccine in 2021.
The president's trip comes as Republican leaders are preparing to unveil their $1 trillion coronavirus relief package, despite opposition from some within their own party over the price tag.
Half the Republicans are going to vote no to any Phase 4 package. That's just a fact.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows spent the weekend on Capitol Hill negotiating with Senate Republicans, and they're optimistic the bill will eventually pass.
The administration and the Senate Republicans are completely on the same page. Mark Meadows and I were up yesterday just working on technical issues in the drafts.
As it stands now, the GOP proposal would ensure unemployed workers get no more than 70% of the wages they made before losing their jobs. Republicans are opposed to the current $600 per week payments, which expire this week.
We have come to 3 cliffs this week: unemployment insurance, protection for renters, protection for state and local government workers.
Negotiations haven't even begun with Democrats, but there are areas where the two sides agree. Democrats and Republicans do agree on another round of $1,200 checks for most Americans and extending eviction protections until the end of the year. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Negotiations could take several weeks as there is opposition over how much money to spend on coronavirus testing, money for schools, and money for state and local governments.
We've seen a few scattered showers and thunderstorms move through today. Most of us remaining on that dry side. Just had a light shower move through my house, but now starting to see that sunshine peek out again. We'll take you up to a few of those cameras. Looking on top of Buffalo Mountain, you could see kind of some stormy-ish clouds in the area, but also that sunshine out there. So those showers are pretty brief, and that sunshine comes out pretty quickly. See that UVA-wise camera looking a little bit on the rainy side earlier, but now starting to clear out and see the blue skies and that sunshine return once again. Pinpoint Doppler, most of us seeing those dry conditions. That shower that was over my house, you could see it just crossing that line from Perry County into parts of Knott County, but starting to die down. Some more showers and storms up towards Cincinnati, but that's where they're going to stay for the night. But for tomorrow, we're going to start to see those move closer into our area. So starting to get a little bit warmer out there. 85 in Jackson, 90 in Hazard, 83 in Harlan, 77 in Wise, 80 in Pikeville, 90 down into London and Williamsburg. So you can see where that rain has hit some areas today, and others not so much. Still a little bit on that hot and humid side for some of us, but a cool down is on the way. Heading into tonight, we'll hang on to a few scattered thunderstorms, but those will really start to die down. We'll continue to see those partly cloudy skies with temperatures dropping into the upper 60s to lower 70s. Starting the day out tomorrow with partly cloudy skies, but more rain moves in as a cold front moves in. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. The NFAC, a group who calls themselves an armed black militia, marching in downtown Louisville today, demanding justice in the Breonna Taylor case. Faith King has a recap of how the protest unfolded.
Multiple protest groups chanting and marching the streets of Louisville. 2 groups demanding answers. Another group supporting police officers.
We're just here to back the blue.
Local protesters walked side by side of the NFAC. Led by Grandmaster Jay, the group calls themselves a militia. Jay ordered his group to march peacefully.
Strap up, organize, and then let them know we need an answer.
Grandmaster Jay told his people their guns were not to be pointed unless someone else pointed their weapon first. And in that case,
do not shoot them, kill them.
The NFAC marched in formation from Baxter Park to Jefferson Square Park. Grandmaster Jay telling Louisville protesters to continue demanding justice for Breonna Taylor.
If we don't get the truth, the whole truth, and the truth, we are going to burn this down.
Tara Brandow, commander of the 3 Percenters, says her group was only there for safety reasons and didn't understand why the 2 groups were separated.
We're out here for security only. They just made us come back here, and I'm not sure why. Even they have come over, and they're like, well, why'd you separate them? They even asked why we can't come over there.
And local protesters say they appreciate the NFAC for traveling to Louisville, but there's still work to be done.
After the NFAC leaves, we still have to work with our city leaders and our police department and our Metro Council to improve the systematic systems here.
LMPD says 5 people were arrested earlier today and charged with disorderly conduct, obstructing a highway, and menacing. The body of the late Representative John Lewis is now at the U.S. Capitol building in Washington. Lawmakers, civil rights leaders, and others gathered this afternoon as Lewis's casket was escorted into the rotunda where he now lies in state. As a precaution due to the pandemic, a public viewing will take place outdoors later today and tomorrow on the front steps of the Capitol. Lewis will lie in state in the Georgia State Capitol on Wednesday. Lewis died at the age of 80 following a 6-month battle with cancer. Ivanka Trump praised the importance of American jobs during her visit to Duluth Pack this morning. She visited the more than century-old manufacturer to watch Duluth Pack's owners sign the Pledge to America's Workers. The Trump administration hopes companies and trade groups across the country sign it and show their commitment to expanding programs that educate and train American workers.
He wanted to call upon the private sector to join forces with the government to invest in the skills of all Americans, to reskill, to upskill, to provide every American with an on-ramp to opportunity, and to ensure that employers are making the commitment to their most valuable asset.
Ivanka Trump says the president started this pledge 2 years ago, encouraging the private sector to help strengthen the country's workforce. Hazard High School students and student athletes are celebrating a first ever achievement on the court and in the classroom. WYMT's Camille Gear explains.
37-32 Bulldogs now. Wade Pelfrey finds Jared Napier for the 3. He hits that one right
Most
there
of the school year, you can find Jarrett Napier.
Going to rifle this one up, getting the offense started. Haley Cottle, she finds Taylor Wright.
And Haley Cottle on the basketball court. But recently, they have been a part of something special at Hazard High School, overcoming a different kind of obstacle, learning their classwork online.
I told them that this is just one other obstacle. You've overcome so many, we can overcome one more. And I think they really took that message to heart.
Just 2 of the 9 student athletes and 27 total students passing the advanced placement exams, the most passing scores in the school's history.
It was insane. I felt so relieved. I actually put on my bathing suit as soon as I finished it and went and got in the pool and had a nice day to myself.
Using what they learned on the court in the classroom.
I would say time management has been the best skill that I've learned, playing sports and taking an AP class and just getting everything done as soon as possible and not waiting until the last minute.
Especially high school coaches, they're always talking about, but the main thing that we're instilling is character traits. It is a true statement. You know, if you are willing to do the work, you'll be fine, but you have to put your head down and do it.
But this would not have been possible without the support from teachers.
I think they do an outstanding job. Really, I don't know how I could have managed with what happened. And to have 27 kids, the most in history here pass, that's a really, really big accomplishment, especially with the hand that we were dealt.
Making history on the court and in the classroom.
We already know that we're one of the best high schools, so we'd like to be able to show that not just on the court, but in the classroom as well.
In Hazard, Camille Gear, WYMT, Mountain News.
Hazard High School beat the Kentucky and national average for their scores on the calculus AP test. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, how checking your plan and a couple of quick calls might save you money on your phone bill.
And a cold front moves in tomorrow, bringing more showers and thunderstorms into the mountains. I'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
When you see new